Yo, welcome back to New Entry Wrestling Podcast. I am your host, Ian, with my co-host, Ever. What it do, baby?
Happy 2024, Ian, and our listeners. For those who are tuning in, please hit the like, subscribe, and share button. You're listening to us on Spotify. Give us a 5-star rating and follow. And today we're talking about Ian getting back with his ex.
Wait, what?
Yeah, TNA wrestling.
Oh, oh my gosh, dude. You I was like, you got no, I like, bro,
Like, wait a minute.
you got me there. You the way you said it so confident too. I was like, what? You got me there. All right. But all jokes aside, we're actually here to talk about TNA Hard to Kill prediction, baby.
Oh, that's right, man. No pun intended. But this match card looks like a lot of total nonstop action.
Oh my gosh. But ever before we get into that, remember how we couldn't like remember what the TNA pay-per-views used to be called?
Yeah,
But now they're premium live events. So
nice.
that's pretty cool.
So Premium Live events, yeah, and thanks to the partnership with Endeavor, I believe that we talked about in episode 158 when you named all the former TNA World Champions or Impact Champions too, in that order. By the way, very impressive again. I mean, I wouldn't be able to, not even WWE for me. People check it out, in the link below.
Ooh, appreciate the love, Ever. So, well, now let's get into these prediction, baby. Yo, what up? So, all right, Ever, are you excited for TNA wrestling? Hard to kill. And the fact,
Yes.
like, bro, how do we go from Impact Wrestling? I'm still wearing the Impact, but how do we go to like Impact Bound for Glory and then now to TNA Hard to Kill? Last year was Impact Hard to Kill. It's just like, it's crazy how TNA has shifted. Um, and it's back. And
Yeah.
like you said at the beginning of the intro, getting back with my ex, and it's like that's how I felt.
Because
Like that's
you went to an actual TNA show in Florida, right?
yes, at the Impact Zone.
I never experienced TNA wrestling. I wouldn't experience Impact Wrestling,
Can I
and that
can
it's
I can I tell you how I felt to like
yeah.
purchase those tickets? Because it was something where it's like very unique. The only time that it was like a bittersweet because you had to purchase a universal ticket.
Oh,
So you get the theme park rides, but the problem is you had to make sure you get the one that TNA is gonna be stationed because they had two studios. Kind of like Six Flags, you know how there's the Six Flags theme park and then Hurricane Harbor, or is
yeah,
that what
like
it's
the
called?
water
Right?
park.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
they're like
water
the
park.
regular park and the water
Mhm.
park. Yeah.
That's how Universal Studio was. So when I got there, the layout of it was pretty interesting. And you get the layout of if you get lucky, I don't know where it's at now, but if you get lucky, there's a little like entryway to a it takes you to a certain point where like you have no entrance, it's like on employees only. But if you go far enough, you could still see where the wrestlers walk and where they had that backstage with the main event mafia, with the team 3D, with the TNA wrestlers backstage fight where the cops
Yeah.
got involved. You could see a little bit of that.
Oh wow.
And so that was just that alone, I was just like, whoa, that's crazy. And then just going inside and you see the merch table first, and then just seeing the impact zone, bro. It was just like so very unique. It felt like a spaceship kind of thing,
Mm.
just how like
Wow.
the layout was,
Yeah.
and just very unique. It's I didn't really like the standing sections. I really wish they had seats. You had to stand there
Oh wow.
for like 3 hours, so that sucks. Sometimes 4 hours. Um, but yeah, that was the only thing that sucked. But just the experience to be there for Sacrifice, got to see AJ Styles, Sting, Samoa Joe, Christopher Daniels, RVD, Bobby Roode, Eric Young, Austin Aries, Bully Ray, got to see all these great talents, and then also the meet and greet. Got to meet Jeff Hardy, Mr. Anderson, Demon, Christy
Wow.
Hemme, RVD, uh, got to meet so many great. talents and stuff like that. And yeah, it was just like a best time.
Wow.
And obviously I flew there. So that was back in 2012. And hopefully TNA
Wow.
Hard to Kill was kind of hoping to be there, but hey, we'll see what happens.
It's crazy.
Hey,
Like 12 years later, it's back to TNA. So it was 12 years then, right? No, they transitioned like
11.
11.
So 2013
So right
is
afterwards.
that's when so yeah, so it's been 10 years. So
Wow.
2013 is when they started going to Impact Wrestling.
Oh wow.
Yeah. But I believe it didn't fully change because it was like
GCW for like
mm,
3 months, right? No, not
yeah,
GCW, GFW, not
GFW. Oh,
not Game Changer. Game
mm,
Game what is it? Game Force? I don't remember the
I have no idea.
yeah.
I know what you're
Well,
talking about, but I just don't know where you're like heading towards.
just saying
So
like it wasn't directly from TNA to Impact. It was TNA,
it was
then
TNA Impact
GFW.
Wrestling,
Yeah.
and then it fully went to Impact Wrestling.
But then it went to GFW,
Oh,
then Impact Wrestling.
GFW. Oh, Global
GF
Force.
Global Force, yeah.
That's okay. That's why I was like, I don't know where you're going with Global Force. Yeah.
For
No,
like a
but no,
hot
no, no.
second. It was not even like like 6 months or something. It was like
No,
two months.
no, no, no. It was just them. I mean, I don't. I'm just giving you the dirt sheet. I don't know how true it is. It was like a test run,
Mm,
but it just
no.
they were like, nope, nope, nope. Oh, my bad, my bad, my bad.
Turn back time.
Yeah, no. Global Force was a good company. Jeff Jarrett, he was doing something with it. The problem
Yeah,
was it was just like
they got no audience, man.
that too. No, because he was trying to go like mainstream.
But he didn't want to go like he wanted to be a
No,
big promotion already.
yeah.
Like, hey, take it like one time, one
He
day at a
should have
time.
kept it independent. And it was like you had the right resource, you had the right partnership. You should have started off independent first
Yeah,
and then started doing baseball arenas because they were doing baseball arenas since day one. And it was just like, whoa, hold on.
yeah,
Because they had the top guys, because they were using top guys from TNA. But it's like TNA is not even selling out
yeah.
baseball arena. Like, what are you doing? So and also he had a couple locals, not locals. Well, yes, local wrestlers, but also like former WWE guys like Cody Rhodes.
Oh wow, yeah.
So, but yeah, but TNA Hard to Kill, very exciting. They have so much of a lineup going on. Let's get into these predictions, man, because they got 10 matches, man, and three of them are in the pre-show where I don't
Wow.
understand why they're in the pre-show. So let's
What?
talk about it.
Okay.
So these are the three matches that's on the pre-show. Rich Swann versus Steve Macklin. Okay.
Wow.
Okay, cool. This is what bothers me about it though. It says former champions clash. So it's like, so you got two former champions on your pre-show. That's a red flag. But regardless of all that, I'm gonna go with Rich Swann getting the W. Just because Steve Macklin's apparently going out the door. So it's like, why is he gonna get the W? So
Yeah. I agree with that one too. 'Cause I think he wants to go to AEW, but like hopefully they use him there. I mean, that's the thing about he could be a champion right
right.
now. But
Yeah, maybe.
hopefully, I mean, if he stays, he might. It's a because I think his wife signed with AEW, but it's not always the
Mhm.
case. Like some people that work in different promotions and they're married.
Right.
So
I feel like Steve Macklin deserves another title run though.
yeah,
Because he was just there to fill. Maybe he was supposed to win the title from Josh
yeah,
Alexander.
yeah,
Nobody knows the case on that part, right?
yeah,
Uh, maybe Josh Alexander was supposed to retain because eventually, at against all odds, we got to see the rematch. We probably would we got to see Alex Shelley versus Steve Macklin. So let's say Steve Macklin didn't win the TNA World Heavyweight title. Josh Alexander doesn't vacate the title, right? Would we still would have gotten Josh Alexander versus Alex Shelley, or would have been somebody else in that spot? Would Alex Shelley still win the title? what changed on that part? That's the only thing that I'm kind of like curious about. Uh, and the reason why I'm trying to bring it up, because let's just say Steve Macklin was never supposed. If Steve Macklin was never supposed to win the world title, I can understand why he needs to exit. But if he was supposed to be the guy, and remember, he still has that rivalry going on with Scott D'Amore,
Mm.
because he was supposed to face Scott D'Amore at Slammiversary. Merha Diener took his spot because he hurt his shoulder.
Mhm.
Steve Macklin comes back. He faces Josh Alexander. Winner fate goes on to the main event, Bout for Glory. Steve Macklin did not win. And so I feel like the rivalry between Steve Macklin and Josh Alexander could still continue. He deserves another shot at the world title. Pick up his feud with Scott D'Amore. So it's like there's so much going on with this guy. So if this guy leaves, it's like everything he had worked for, it's just like it was all for nothing, basically. But this was last year.
Mm. Yeah, because you would think like he would, because what I mean, he signs where his wife signed.
Mhm.
I don't think he's gonna be a world champion anytime soon. You know,
No, not in
in AEW.
AEW.
No, he'll be like probably like a tag team champion, maybe in Ring of Honor or
Mhm.
some, like something like. But he will never be a world champion. At least in TNA, he at least will have like title shots. He didn't give him a title shot in AEW just to be like, hey, thanks for coming.
Right.
But he's not gonna win. He's
He
not gonna
never
be.
he had a lot of opportunities at titles, but he never really fully won a world. I mean, the only title he won was the world heavyweight title. That
Which
was
is
the
not
only
bad
title.
either.
Yeah, it's a hell of a resume. And also the fact
Yeah.
that Impact Wrestling is now TNA. So, now you have like the opportunity to win the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. That's why I was kind of surprised that Deanna Purrazzo would leave TNA, because I would assume like, let me have a run at the the TNA Knockouts title.
Yeah.
And I would assume she was going to have a short-term deal, or like at least a 1-year deal. But, I don't know. I really don't know why she went with AEW. For all we know, it could have been more money. For all we know was TNA had nothing else for her, where it was just like, yeah, we could offer you a contract, but when it comes to story, it's like, we don't have nothing for you. You're just going to be a wrestler for us. Um, so it could just be that. It could also, Deanna Purrazzo left just because, opportunities, more money. She's done everything she can in Impact Wrestling. And, it's better she could always come back to TNA Wrestling. Hopefully she didn't sign a long
Uh,
contract with
nah,
AEW.
she probably did.
Probably.
Tony always signs people to like 5-year deals minimum. He's like, there's no like, oh,
Yeah,
a one
because
year contract.
he offers so much money.
Yeah. So I don't think we're gonna see her for a while if
Yeah.
she decides to join.
So, but Steve Macklin, hey, wherever you decide to go, good luck. But
Mm,
hey, if he does go to AEW, I mean, I would like to see him face John Moxley. That's for sure.
yeah,
And
but
Hangman Page.
uh,
But that's about it. Oh,
we'll
and
barely
Adam
see her.
and Adam Coleman. All right, going on to the next match. Eddie Edwards, Brian Myers versus the TNA original Eric Young and Frankie Kazarian. I'm gonna go with TNA originals, Eric Young and Frankie Kazarian.
Yeah, me too. I don't know because I feel like it seems like they're a better team because they're really young and they're TNA guys, right?
Yeah. Though I do love Eddie Edwards, but I gotta go. The only reason why I do want the TNA originals to win, just because I feel like they should
Make them
be
look
a
strong.
no be a tag team, like
Mm,
like an actual tag team, like be a tag team that way, like be the
yeah,
TNA originals. Like that's a nice tag team for you guys. Not a lot of people
yeah,
can say that, so be part of that. Uh, that name TNA original tag team, and then go after the tag team titles. I mean, if they don't stay as a tag team, I mean, look how it worked out for beer money. That's what we
yeah.
need. We need another beer money.
Mm.
That's
That was
that
pretty fun though.
that was. We need another LAX. So we
Yeah.
that tag team, but we got a lot of tag team. Speaking we'll just go ahead, go to the tag team match. ABC versus the Rascals, Speedball Mountain, Mike Bailey, Trent Seven, the Greasy Young Veterans, in a fatal four-way tag team match for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. Actually very excited for this match because it's like, whoa, like, this is gonna be crazy. This is gonna be a crazy tag team
Yeah.
match right here.
Yeah.
This is like this tag team match right here. This is like this is TNA.
Yeah.
It's yeah, it's like this is TNA. Who do you think is gonna go over?
I say ABC
Do you think ABC is gonna retain?
because they barely won it, no? They won it at Bound for Glory, so
Yeah,
it's been like 3 months.
but that's
So
what I'm
I think,
saying. But not they didn't really have so much of a title defense with it. And those tag
yeah.
team
So,
titles are nice.
oh yeah, they're really nice.
That's they
We haven't talked about that. They gave us updated titles now. I'm like,
yeah.
woo.
Woo. Yeah, oh yeah, those nice tag team titles. We'll post the photo right here on the screen. But yeah, like those tag team titles are very nice. I like the red. It's not, it's weird. I'm not just because I'm a TNA guy. It's just like when you see the belt, it's very nice. It's very
Yeah.
classic.
I don't know. I like it better than the Impact ones. The Impact ones seem too square to me. Like they had like that the square shape.
I
This is
actually
more like a
yeah.
shape. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like how the tag team title is kind of like a rectangle with a
It looked like
rectangle with a rectangle.
it looked like a nail, like a
Yeah,
fingernail.
yeah. It looked like a thumb. Looked like a
Yeah.
thumb. And they
Yeah,
were all
I
yeah.
had mixed feelings about it. Yeah, I had mixed feelings.
Because the TNA titles back then were fire too. Like the Eagle one and
Hmm.
the TNA one. It looks like the World Heavyweight title. That was legit. You know.
Yeah,
And the tag
those.
team titles were not bad either. You know.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, the tag team titles at the time, I did really uh these titles, I didn't really the tag team. I kind of it like kind of grew in me. That's what she said.
Yeah.
Um, but these new tag team titles, it's like I fell in love with them first sight,
Yeah.
and it's just like, oh my gosh, like finally a belt that it's like not even an issue with. And it's weird because it's coming from TNA.
Yeah.
It's like wait, it's coming from TNA where it's like what's going on? Why
Man.
do you guys have nice titles? You know,
Interesting, huh?
I wonder where they're
So
getting that money from.
I know, right?
Uh,
We'll talk about it at the end.
yeah.
Let's see our predictions about other stuff
Cat
too. But
Williams, where you at?
yeah, right. Dude, that was a good interview though. But anyways, who do you got?
I'm gonna go with uh the underdog, in my opinion, Speedball Mountain.
So you're going for
So
the only team that's not had a long like relationship together.
yes.
Because everybody else has been around for like probably a few years, each of
Right.
them.
I just feel here's the thing. I think just for that night, if it was up to me, I would book them to go over for tonight. And then since there's taping the next night, have them drop the belt the next night back to ABC,
Okay.
you know. Um, and then just like that. Like play a hot potato just for the night.
Yeah.
And then but then I'll have them like start. I will push them kind of out. What I would do with them is did I would do something similar to like what WWE did with Bianca and Becky's feud, like how Becky took the title away from Bianca. Bianca had a rematch, failed. She had to start all over, win the Rumble. Did she win the Rumble? No, she didn't win the Rumble. She won the Chamber match, right? She had she was
I think so.
supposed she
Yeah.
was part of the Rumble, failed. Chamber won, went on and faced Becky. And so that's how I would book the Speedball Mountain, where it's like win the title, they got a taste of it, they lost it, and it's like have them start over until like Slammiversary or something or Bound for Glory, and that's where they win the titles back, and that's where I'll give them a longer reign.
Okay.
So like give them that underdog story. It's like, oh, we
Yeah.
got the taste of it, and then it was like, damn, it was taken away from us. So but that's who I would go with. Up
Yeah.
next. Oh man, god damn, bro. Josh Alexander, Alex Hammerstone. I don't even know like how like Josh asked for this match. Josh asked. Scott D'Amore went out to Josh Alexander. Who do you want to face? Alex Hammerstone. Give me him, you know? And it's just like, God damn. And you know what bothers me is that they should have done like how they did with Josh. They did it to Josh. They did it to Michael Elgin. I believe they did it to Sammy and Moose and Edwards in the past of going up to them saying, who do you want to face at this pay-per-view? I wish TNA back then, like Dixie Carter, would have done that to Kurt Angle. Who do you want to face
Oh man, who knows
outside?
what I've been.
Exactly. Exactly. Imagine the guys that he would have freaking picked. Kurt Angle,
Man.
AJ Styles. Who do you want to face outside this company that we could bring in that you could face at a pay-per-view? Like, imagine they would have said that to Kurt Angle
Oof.
and AJ Styles. We probably would have seen Adam Cole. We probably would have seen El Genetico, Kevin Steen, Davey Richard, Eddie Edwards, Austin Aries a long time ago. If they would have went up to Kurt Angle and AJ Styles, who do you want to face? And we're not gonna bury them. You're gonna who do you want to face? And we're gonna give you 20 minutes with them. You know, oh my gosh. I can't even like
Yeah.
let's move on because or else something's gonna come out of my pants. Um
Who do you got though? Who do you got
uh
winning?
Josh Alexander.
Yeah, me too. He's the guy that actually works there. Hammerstone is like the
Yeah.
MLW guy, you know?
Unless
Maybe.
unless hey, for all we know, he may get a contract that day. What if that's a big
Yeah.
announcement?
Maybe.
You know,
We don't know.
after the match, Scott Demore comes out. Here's a contract. This is the big
Hmm.
announcement. You know,
Yeah.
before we move on, since I brought it up, what do you think the big announcement is? Just
There's
if you
so
have
there's
to,
so
this is predictions. This is predictions. So I want to
yeah.
know your prediction of the announcement and what would you like it to be? So I want two answers from you.
I'm thinking there's gonna be multiple. I don't think it's just one because it's like the first TNA show. They're gonna announce a bunch of stuff.
Mhm. But
So
imagine it was something like what happened like with Ginger Mahal and The Rock. You know how Triple H made an announcement, former world champions gonna show
yeah.
up, blah blah blah, and then I don't know if you recall, but there was no mention in the show former
Mm,
champion is gonna show up until like the last 2 minutes of it, or like the last 30 seconds they
yeah.
mentioned, oh, up next, former WWE champion is gonna show up. And it was like, oh, after the commercial break, and then when we came back, that's when they like showed it. So like let's just say TNA was doing something like that. Hey, Scott Demore's at 8 o'clock, we're gonna have an announcement. What do you think the announcement is going to be?
I don't know. There's so much. It's so many things, and I don't want to be like a dirt sheet guy, you know, because those guys are always wrong or kind of wrong. But if I was just me personally, I'm thinking they're gonna have a relationship with NXT. I
Mhm.
don't know why. It just
Worlds
feels like
collides. World, what do you think? I think Shawn Michaels is gonna show
because
up.
it can't say worlds collide with New Japan because they already work with New Japan. They can't say worlds collide with Mexico.
Right.
Anybody in Mexico they already work with. They're working with AAA.
Mhm.
They can't say worlds collide with AEW because they already work with AEW.
Right.
So the only company that's left that's not any of those that's
WWE.
major is
Right.
WWE.
And no offense to other
Hmm.
promotions,
Yeah.
none of them is worth for TNA to say we have a huge announcement that we
You
have to
yeah, cause
wait to
yeah,
TNA hard to kill.
cause
The,
man, cause the fact that they work with Endeavor's gonna be like, hey, why don't you just guys work together?
mhm.
You know, you're using us Endeavor
Right.
or as a streaming service. Like, why not just like partner up? WWE is already open to all Japan. They let NXT guy go to New Japan, all Japan. I mean, all Japan
Right.
wrestling. What's to say? Like, you know what? You guys been around for 20 plus years already. Like, you know what? We should just work together. Triple H. I can imagine if it is NXT, I can see like Braun Breaker versus Josh Alexander.
What's a perfect company to work with TNA for WWE to say, you know what, we're not going to work with you, but built a relationship, we'll do it with NXT. You know,
I mean,
it just makes sense.
I could see WWE like because the fact that they work with All Japan and they let Nakamura go to Pro Wrestling Noah, but
Hmm.
Pro Wrestling Noah has a contract with AEW, so probably that's a one-off. All Japan doesn't have a contract with anybody. Well, they're gonna start unifying or not. They're not gonna combine all the Japanese companies or the major ones, but they're
Right.
gonna all work together. It's gonna be All Japan, New Japan, Big Japan, Stardom. They're gonna be working together as like a united. It's like the NWA, but it'd be like for Japan only.
Hmm.
So that might be like WWE and be like, hey, I know you're working with AEW New Japan, but like let's do a little partnership here and there, like they
Right.
used to in the past. People forget about that. That they used to work with all these Japanese companies back in the day, and then with Mexico, well, obviously both Mexican companies are working with AEW, but they're not working together. Like,
Hmm.
hey, yeah, we're both working with AEW, but AAA and CMLL are not going to work with each other ever. It's like, WWE might be like, we want to be in Mexico, but we'll work with the Crash, we'll work with IWRG, we'll work with, some other smaller promotion in Mexico.
Right.
I mean, I could see WWE doing that because if they actually, WWE's trying to, I mean, I looked at it. Every show so far that's been announced for WWE, only two of them are not in the US. Only two of them are in the US,
Hmm.
which is insane. You would think, it's like, so WWE's might be like, you know what? And they probably do want to start NXT Europe. They
Right.
might, I know they ended the relationship with Progress and all that, but they might, like, hey, TNA is the
And
second best
that
thing.
you just said it right there.
Yep.
TNA works with other people, other promotions. So I don't understand why it's people find it hard to believe that WWE would work with TNA Wrestling. I
Yeah.
would understand working with Impact Wrestling, but TNA Wrestling is a different. That's a different story.
And the fact is, like, if TNA ever were to be sold to WWE, which I don't think is gonna happen, they'll have AJ Styles' library, they'll have Kurt Angle's library.
Kurt freaking alone,
Yeah, his TNA library alone will be like,
alone.
we'll just take that. We'll just take his library we'll just take Kurt Angle's library. We don't even
Yeah,
take, you could keep the rest of them. We just
yeah,
want Kurt Angle's and AJ Styles because
yeah.
they're the big guys now. And
LA
CM
Knight.
Punk, yeah, LA
LA
Knight,
Knight
CM
didn't had a
Punk,
big career, but LA Knight admitted himself he had a great run in Impact Wrestling. The problem was he finished his story. And once he dropped the belt, it was kind of like he should have
okay,
left the company.
yeah,
He stayed
yeah,
and there was nothing for him. And they told him that. And it was
yeah,
just like, it was not like a bad thing. People were like, oh, why is Impact Wrestling burying Eli Drake? It's like he's done his part. We're not,
yeah,
we would like to keep him around because he does bring, he's a big part of the company,
yeah,
but he's already like back to Deanna Prazo. It's like I done everything already.
yeah.
Yeah, I could stay for TNA Wrestling to win the TNA Knockouts title, but I could always come back.
In 5 years.
In if that,
Yeah,
for all we know, she may did a short deal contract. I hope not, but or who knows? Maybe she went to and for all we know, she probably went to AEW just to get more money or to see can she be a star. Maybe she's trying to like you know get WWE's attention. You know,
yeah,
I don't know, but that's the other thing. Why would Deanna Peraza leave if WWE is gonna work with them? Unless she doesn't know that kind of stuff. I mean, why would
yeah,
she?
yeah,
That's backstage stuff, that's office stuff. She's a wrestler, so maybe, but I would assume if a lot of people are staying, but that goes for Eddie Edwards too. But Eddie Edwards, he's like the locker
he
room.
resigned, right?
Yeah, he resigned and he's like, I don't know if he's still the locker room leader. I would assume he is.
Yeah,
Uh, but yeah, like for him, Eddie Edwards has done everything, you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
and
Because
but he
that,
still re-signed
I
with the
mean,
company.
it's pretty like far, like it's pretty like, oh, it might be WWE, but like you never know anymore.
Yeah,
You never know. It might be,
CM Punk,
yeah. Like you told me,
AEW
CM Punk.
return back to WWE in 1 year.
Like
It's
I
just
never
like too
thought that would
much.
happen ever. And then
Yeah,
like I never thought that like WWE will allow wrestlers to work at All Japan again. Well, they worked back in the
yeah.
80s and 90s, but again, like WWE actually like, you know what? Go ahead.
Mhm.
That's so anything could happen in 2024. But I'm thinking if that happens, that's gonna like be insane. The other thing is they might sign Hammerstone. I think, or bring back Callahan. I think Callahan hasn't really signed with anybody else.
Yeah, for
You
all we
know,
know, is
they re-signed Mickey
um
James. You know, it could be
yeah,
anybody. It could be
right.
anybody
For
like they used already.
and here's the crazy thing. It doesn't who said it's a wrestler?
Yeah.
They could easily say we're bringing back the six sides of ring, the six side
Oh
ring,
my. Yeah.
you know, or hey, at Slammiversary, we're not going to be in front of 500 people. We're going to be in front of 5,000 people. You know, we're going to be in
Yeah.
an arena for Slammiversary or Bound for Glory or Rebellion, you know. So it doesn't have to be a wrestler. It's just because of the
Or
past
or they signed Mercedes. Who knows? They signed
that,
Sasha Banks. I don't know.
right.
Mercedes Sasha. Who knows? I mean,
She
there's so
could,
much.
yeah.
There's so
There's
much. Like the fact that they say they have money to pay seven figures to Osprey. You know
mhm.
they like where did this money come? Denver money is like good money, but like what
No,
else
that
did they
money was
do?
coming from Anthem.
But still, Anthem's like
Yeah.
we'll spend 10 million, we'll spend $1 million on this guy or 10
Mhm.
million, whatever, seven figures is.
Well, that was because he's moving from
Oh
the
yes,
UK. That's why.
seven figures is like $1 million. Like
Mhm.
the fact that they're willing to do that, they couldn't
Right.
do that money earlier for everybody else, but they do it for this one guy. So I'm like, they got money after this endeavor, and probably the endeavor deal is gonna help them a lot. They might come to, they might join Fox, they might join, get out of Access TV and go to like
Right.
NBC. Never know.
They partnership with NFL
They did. Oh, why? See, they're
with
getting money.
for a I think it was like an
Like,
insurance kind of thing. I
see
don't
that?
remember.
See, I'm like,
But
they're getting
regardless what it is, it says NFL.
Oh wow,
Regardless
yeah,
what it's
that's already
NFL.
a lot. Yeah,
It's
that's a
still a
lot of.
lot. That's still a
Yeah,
lot of attention. You know,
yeah.
it could be a small company, but it's like it could be insurance, it could be something else. It doesn't the stamp says a partnership with NFL. What I don't know what it is, but they
Guarantee
partnership.
money.
It's like, yeah, so already that alone because of oh my gosh, what's the company called ever
Endeavor,
in Denver?
endeavor, endeavor. Oh, you
Welcome
get that
to
eventually.
welcome to ever teaching Ian how to speak properly.
No, it's fine.
My
You get it.
ESL teacher. Anyways, TKO is partnership with TNA Wrestling.
You
But
never
we,
know. I mean, you never know at this point.
yeah,
You never.
you really Triple H
It
could
could be.
show
It
up.
could. It could be anything. It
Triple H
could.
could show up. Brock Lesnar. I think it's Brock Lesnar.
Ooh.
Maybe
Ooh.
Brock Lesnar found out, like, hey, you could pay what now? I'll take that million.
Yeah.
Because Brock
Wow.
Lesnar wanted to, he called up Kurt Angle. You think you
Well,
could
I
give me
think
the same?
originally he was gonna go to TNA, but then he decided to go to Japan instead of TNA. Remember when he got let go or he left WWE, he went to New
Yeah, but
Japan?
it wasn't right away though.
No, but he could have been in TNA because Kurt
Was
Angle was
that
like,
was
I'm
that
in.
was that the case? I thought he was in Japan first, and then after his deal with Japan, that's when he asked Kurt Angle about if he could get the same deal that he was getting in TNA.
Yeah, and then he decided to go to UFC.
That's
then
yeah,
he, then he
that's
went.
that's how I took it. Like
Yeah.
that's how I remember it. I should
See, I
say.
don't know. I don't know all the
Yeah.
details of that.
Yeah. I'm not saying I know I remember the report. I know how like the news broke out, but obviously that sometimes that's like when people what annoys me is like when I hear news and I'm like, that was like 10 years ago. Why are we talking about it today? And then I
Yeah,
forget we have a whole new generation of wrestling fans
that know nothing about
that know
this. Like
nothing
they
about
what?
this. Yeah,
Hey,
and
what?
it's yeah, and then I'm just like, oh yeah, that's why. So, but yeah, like, hey, well, once again, Brock Lesnar, he probably found out, hey, TNA got that money now. What?
Or Goldberg even.
No, please
Go-
take that back. Take take that
I
back,
know.
man. Don't do that. Don't
I'm
disrespect
going.
TNA.
I'm digging more.
Yeah. 10 years ago, 10 years ago, sure, I would have considered it.
Now it's like,
No, now it's no. I believe there was a rumor. I think in 2019, they were trying to work a deal with Goldberg, or
ooh,
that's with the whole. You know how the Moose,
yeah.
he was calling his spear no jackhammer needed,
Wow.
and because they were trying to build a feud,
Oh wow.
and they were talking. There was rumors of TNA talking with them, and once they couldn't agreed a deal that they just told Moose to stop like you calling it that way. We're not gonna call it the no jackhammer needed.
Yeah.
That's the dirt sheets, obviously.
Yeah, I'll take the thing with Dirt Sheets is I'll listen, I'll read it stuff. I'm like, you know what? Until it actually happens, I'll believe them.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but oh, it never
But
happened.
it's still the. I mean, it's still besides all that. It's like regardless. I mean, it's still fun to talk about.
Oh
Of
yeah,
like where it could be. For all we know, it could be something lame. For all we know, it could be something that we're just like, whoa, how did we miss that? You know,
yeah. We didn't have
it
no
could be
cues
right.
about it.
Yeah, it could be right under our nose, and
Hmm.
we're so out of there. We're just like, oh my gosh, I would never thought that.
Yeah.
You know,
Or you never. You know what I thought? What if like what's that? Sanity comes back and joins Eric Young. You know, Alexander Wolf. Oh,
it's
you didn't
oh
watch
like,
NXT?
but not as an announcement, but as a I was gonna ask you that towards the well, towards the end of the prediction. I was gonna ask you like, do you expect any surprises?
I mean, people. I think honestly, people would want to work for TNA. They know the
Mhm.
history. They're like like you said, Impact Wrestling was fine, but it's like it's not TNA.
It's not.
That's
It's
what.
not. It's not
That's why it's
TNA.
like,
I could
ooh,
back
I
up
get.
TNA wrestling.
That's why we say with Deanna Purrazzo, like, why didn't she just stay? She could have just gone, just worked for TNA, but she left right
Yeah,
before they announced, before
but
they
you know
even.
what? I will say this. I will say about this about Deanna Purrazzo. She is the face of Impact Wrestling. She's the face of Impact Wrestling. So for her to like, I already made a name for myself. I'm the face of Impact Wrestling. Why do I need to start over when I could just start all over somewhere else and hopefully make, obviously I'm pretty sure she is making more money.
Oh yeah, come
Um,
on.
yeah.
They
So
probably threw
so
like
the,
five
I will
million at
say,
her. Just
I will say that because it's
yeah.
like I'm the face, regardless. It's like, hey, I was gonna leave regardless if you're, rebranding the company and all that. But it's like I'm the face of this. Let me retire with this company. Because in a way, she kind of did.
Yeah.
She retired with the company, and thanks to her, she saved TNA, Impact Wrestling, during the pandemics when
Mm.
she signed with TNA and or Impact Wrestling. I had some mixed feelings because I was like, NXT couldn't do anything with her. I don't want to see how you guys could. She proved me wrong. To the
Yeah.
point, she proved me wrong. You know, so throughout the whole pandemic, she kept the knockout division alive.
Mm.
You know,
Yeah.
and then she kept pushing it into the main event picture thanks to her. So I got to give her props on that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, I hate to see her go. I mean, she's already gone, but
Yeah.
it was just kind of, to me, it's just, I took it personally because it's like, bro, you kept me still in the loop, like, kept like
Yeah.
keeping TN Impact Wrestling alive. And I'm watching it because of you. TNA's back. My first, my true
Yeah.
love and all that. And it's like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna get Deanna Purrazzo in TNA, and it's like you're not gonna be there. But you know
Yeah.
who is gonna be there? Jordan Grace. So,
Speaking of knockouts, what about the Ultimate X match?
oh
That's gonna be interesting.
well, okay, no, we'll talk about that. We'll go into that. The knockouts, Ultimate X.
Yeah. Because I think
Two
the the
things.
the world title match, the women's title match is gonna be a main event. So let's just do
Okay,
this one
okay.
first. They might. Ooh.
Do
Okay,
you
go
think this is good?
ahead.
I think this is gonna be the opening match. Most likely, right?
I think it is, but I don't know how they're gonna do it. Where like you'll cash it in the same night, kind of thing. I don't know. Or
That's what I was gonna ask you.
that's where you're going.
I was gonna ask you
Yeah,
for your prediction first, and then so let's do that. Who do you think is going over?
I'm going with. I like their in NXT UK, Zaya Brookside.
Zaya Brookside.
Hmm.
See, I only want to pick her because she's cute, and I hope she signs with TNA because I want to see her more.
Well, I'm
Um,
realizing a lot of people they're using are from NXT UK. Trent
mm.
Seven, the Grizzled Young Vets, Zaya Brookside, Danny Luna.
Well,
Well,
it's
if
because remember they were just at the UK
yeah, they
last
probably
month.
like, hey, come along,
So they
come back.
probably, yeah. So that's what they do. Whoever they impress, they bring them along and all
There's
that.
subcultures there too. They're using subculture.
They're in this match. I mean, not in
No,
this
but no, I
match, in
mean
the
they've
show.
been used recently. They were
Oh yeah,
I
yeah,
was
yeah, yeah. Oh
like
yeah.
Mark Andrews
They
and
were tag team champions for TNA
yeah,
or
exactly.
Impact
See, that's what I
Wrestling.
was like, oh, but
Yeah.
yeah,
So for me, I'm gonna go with Danny Luna. Is that her name?
yeah, the other NXT
Because she
UK
just
girl.
signed. She just signed with TNA Wrestling.
So she's official.
Hmm. But so that's who I think. My
Mm-hmm.
second choice, I'm gonna say Alicia Edwards.
Interesting.
Because she's the wild card. But I feel like she's not going to, so that's why she's my second choice.
Yeah.
And yeah. But do you think we're gonna get a same cash in night tonight? A
If
cash
it
in?
if it goes the way I think it is, where they're first, I think
Mhm.
they would, but I don't know how they do that with like it's not feast or fired, it's not like it's not money in the bank. It's just like I
What
won
are
the
the rules
match.
basically?
Yeah, like they or whoever they're gonna be in the beginning match. Like, whoever wins this could cash in anytime they want.
Right.
So they could be like, hey, if I win this, like the person, if they when they win, they're like, I want to use this tonight. But
Mhm.
then it won't be a surprise. So I don't know how make it a triple threat match, But they just
I obviously will probably more
at the day,
details
yeah,
of the day of the show where
yeah.
it's like, hey, this is like they could cash it in whenever, or it's like, no, it's like
It has to be used for a later show. Like it
you
has to
have
be for the
to
February show or April show, whatever show.
yeah, it's like you have to
It's like the Rumble.
it's not like a call your shot Gothic
Yeah,
where it's like
yeah,
you could
exactly.
yeah, it's like no, it's like this is the number one contender. You could cash it in whenever, but it's not like a money in the bank briefcase,
Yeah,
it's
it's
like
not where you have
no.
to do it now, do it now.
Yeah.
No,
So
yeah,
that could be the case. Just the only reason why I say that is because nobody has done like a cash in, and
yeah,
I hope and not everything needs to be a cash in because it's like what's the purpose of call your shot Gothic then?
yeah.
What's the purpose of that, and what's the
It's like
purpose
money.
of
It's
Feast
like
of
money in the
Fire?
bank.
Yeah,
It's like money. It's like money in a bank. It's like if it doesn't have that purpose of like surprise factor,
that could be the money in the bank.
that could be
That could be
actually.
their money in the bank. The X, the
So
because they
get rid
don't
of the
have to.
call your
Yeah,
gauntlet. It's like because the call your gauntlet's
no,
technically
no,
a
no,
Royal
no.
Rumble, and then
Well,
Feast or Fired is like Feast or Fired. Like
I would say the Ultimate X
hmm,
match be the Money in the Bank, like the briefcase.
yeah.
Call your shot, Gauntlet. I would say be that. Let that be the Royal Rumble. Do you
Hmm.
want a main event? Um, um,
Pay per view or something like a
you
PLE
get
now.
yeah, no, like I would say have a main event Bound for Glory then.
But that's October though, so they have to have that like in
But that's what I'm saying. They could
August.
have
Yeah.
it at they could have it at Slammiversary.
Ooh, yeah. Okay.
Have it at Slammiversary, the Call Your Shot Gauntlet, and then but they could do it at Slammiversary and Bound for Glory. So it's like,
Yeah.
hey, Slammiversary, whoever wins this Gauntlet, it goes on to go main event Bound for Glory, and then have one in Bound for
Hmm.
Glory. Whoever wins at Bound for Glory, hard to kill. Like you already did with Moose. You did it with
Yeah.
Jordan Grace. So just do the ball rolling. Don't
So
do
what
it
do you
for
think?
Rebellion. Do it
So
for
what do you think?
Slammiversary.
Oh, what do you think for Feast or Fired? Is that gonna? You think that's like a thing, or is that more
Face
like
or Fire is
we have to get rid of this guy. He wants to go.
mm,
Like
do
we want
feast
to
and
do it.
do sorry, because it's like a delayed for a
Yeah.
second. Uh do Feast or Fire when somebody's about to be released.
Hmm.
Because I like that. That's
But then we
pretty
kind of know then, right? You're like, oh, somebody's leaving. But then we know they're leaving because they probably tell
yeah,
people. And they probably be
yeah,
like, this is my last run with the company or whatever. Like,
right.
I guess you're fired.
Yeah,
you know?
that I mean, wouldn't that be cool? Wouldn't you want to leave that way?
Yeah, so
I
yeah.
would, especially if I'm a mid card.
Yeah.
Like I'm a mid card. It's like it's not like you're gonna give me a nice exit, right? So it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, let's do a gimmick out of it. At least that way somebody at least because imagine how good that would feel. The fact that you're leaving the company and the fact of like, hey, I want to be released, and they're like, oh, we're gonna have a feast and fire match. You're giving three other people opportunities at the titles when you leave, thanks to you. So like yeah, like yeah, that
Yeah.
I'll feel happy. I'll feel great about that. Where it's like, yeah, I'm leaving the company. Put me in a feast and fire match. I'll get the fire briefcase, and that way you give these three guys an opportunity at a future title shot, regardless
Mm,
if they win or not. But at
yeah.
least you give them the opportunity thanks to my exit. Hell
Yeah.
yeah, I want to leave that way because imagine leaving and you don't do anything for nobody because it's like imagine leaving and nobody remembers you leaving or
Yeah. It's
forget
gonna
that
be
you were there. I want to leave in a way where it's like, bro, if I'm leaving, if I'm not gonna resign with you guys, or you guys gonna let me go, put me in a loser leaves town match. Put me in a contract versus contract match. Don't just be like, oh,
Yeah,
this is your last match. Take care. I'm like, what the
yeah.
hell? No,
Go out with a bang, right?
yeah, what the hell? Put me in a storyline. Because what if
Mm.
put me in a storyline for people to cheer me on? Because what if you guys change your mind about
Or they
me?
change their mind too. They're like, you know what? I
Yeah,
might
yeah.
stay. They
Yeah, build me up to a loser leaves town match because if nobody cares for me, then they're gonna be like, oh, okay, well, you're losing anyways. But then if people
Mhm.
are cheering for me and hoping I don't leave, you guys may say, okay, you know what? Hold on. Let's talk,
Yeah.
you know? So come on, people think.
Whew.
Don't just leave a
Right.
company.
Yeah. Yeah, TNA's watching us, right?
No, I hope so. Um,
S- So the next match.
Dirty Dango versus PCO.
I'm
I
kind of
feel
shocked by this one.
why? Why? I'm not mad. Why? What's going to happen in this match card? I two things is gonna happen. We're gonna watch this match and we're either gonna be, oh, that's why that match was on pay-per-view. Or why was this on pay-per-view?
Yeah, because I think we didn't talk about it, but the third pre-show match is the Tommy Dreamer versus Crazy Steve for the TNA Digital Media in a no DQ. I'm like, that's more like a main card match.
Because it's a digital media.
It's for the title, yeah. It's a
It's
championship match.
internet title.
Uh,
That's why. That's
I
why
get it.
it's the internet title. I had the same feeling too when I saw it. I'm like, why is this on the pre-show? Oh yeah, it's the
I
internet
I
title.
realize it's the only title that's not originally in TNA. It was the Legends title and or the TV title. It's the only title that's not original to like TNA because the World Tag
Oh,
Team, the Knockout,
I see what you
you know,
mean. Yeah, yeah.
even the Knockouts Tag Team was in TNA. So
Right.
TNA Digital Media is the only one that only if they continue the lineage of the TV title or the Legends title. I
No,
don't
no,
think
please don't.
so. No, I mean, but I'm saying like it's the only title. It's not like originally part of like TNA.
Right.
Everybody else, every other title's like you see them in TNA as a TNA title. So it's unique. But yeah, I don't know why. And PCO does really crazy bumps. Every show
And
I've
it
been
but
to,
my bad,
he's like,
but I just want to add one thing that it's a singles match. But the
yeah,
Tommy Dreamer match is the disqualification match. That's
they
what's
could have
throwing me
flipped it.
off.
They could have
That's what's
flipped it.
throwing me off. But
Yeah.
anyways, continue what you were gonna say.
But is it, because I don't watch TNA like that, but is Dirty Dango and PCO like a feud or is it like
Yes,
a match? So,
it's a
but is it
feud.
but is it a crazier feud than Dreamer and Crazy Steve? I thought Crazy Steve and Tommy Dreamer's feud was more intense.
Yes, but
What
once
I saw,
again,
I don't
yeah,
watch it like every day like you do.
it's not well, remember, because they had a pause, but they have a mini feud. Both men do have a mini feud. But remember,
Hmm,
one of the championship is it's
the
internet title.
television, yeah.
It's the internet title. So it's like that's why.
It has to be on
Um
streaming or the internet, yeah.
yeah, because it's or else, it's like I'm just
Mhm.
glad. It's one of those things because it's like why, but then it's like I understand why. And
It's
you
like
know,
how like they keep like with AEW they showcase Ring of Honor titles on AEW, but
mhm,
they should just keep it on Ring of Honor TV.
right.
But they keep
Because
but
it's like
they
you have your own titles.
so you're telling me it's like yeah, because it's the digital media means it's only on streaming, it's only online, it's not meant to be on
Right.
television.
It could be, but
Yeah,
the but that's not the purpose of it. The purpose is
yeah,
to give everybody opportunity. So instead of like for that match itself, there has to be a reason. Because again, it's 30 Dango versus PCO. We still
yeah.
remember we have Rich
Mhm.
Wong and Steve Macklin. We have the TNA original, Eric Young and
Kazarian.
Kazarian against Brian Myers and Eddie Edwards.
Mm.
A
That could be.
lot of former world champions.
And what people don't know because we've been to TNA shows or whatever
Oh my
TNA
gosh.
Impact,
Hey, yo.
there's probably more
Oh,
matches that we're not on
right.
television. We're like,
And then
remember
the
when we went to
pre-tape.
Proper? Oh yeah, they could be because I'm missing some people. I'm like, where's this guy or this lady? I'm like, oh, where's Killer Kelly?
Okada is going to be a Snake Eyes the night after.
He,
So he may
yeah,
show up at Hard to Kill. He could be the announcement. I believe he's no longer with New Japan.
Maybe not. That'd be
So
nuts. That'd be
so he
nuts.
could be the new signing. He probably
Yeah.
heard the you guys have $1 million too. So for all we
Like,
know,
not you don't
he
give it to
may
Osprey, give it to me. I'll
yeah,
take the $1 million
exactly.
contract. And you'll let me
Exactly.
work everywhere. You'll let me work anywhere but AEW, maybe, or
Yeah.
you're letting me work anywhere, any company I want to.
So for all we know, that could be the case too. So,
It's
but
crazy.
what I did realize, we have a lot of former champions on the pre-show.
Yeah,
So
a lot. Everybody.
remember who they're working with.
Mm,
So they need a lot of eyes. So maybe that's why they're like, we got to put these former champions in the free show because we need a lot of eyes.
you think Eric Young, because you know how he left WWE, right?
Mhm.
Like McMahon came back, he's like, I'm leaving. You think that's gonna be a little bit of like that's why they put him on a pre-show? Like, you know what?
Mm,
If it does happen, I'm not saying it's gonna happen. We're not gonna be like, oh my god, WWE's gonna work with TNA. But you think WWE's a little salty? Like, well, but then they're like, we get it. With McMahon, I know we know why you
mm.
left. You didn't really
Um,
show.
the only thing is, I could. It's just like a lot of faces. I don't think it has to do anything with Vince. I'm
Oh
pretty
no.
sure it's more of a.
Hmm.
Besides the Tommy Dreamer Crazy Steve is the only match that's worth putting on the pay-per-view because it has a story between Crazy Steve and Tommy Dreamer. So they do have a rivalry going on. Um well duh, that's why it's a no disqualification match and it's
Yeah,
for the title.
it's more
Other
personal than the
Mhm.
PCO one, I think, because it's like a
Yeah,
singles match.
but at the same but then you know what? I keep forgetting and you mentioned it. PCO does crazy stunts.
My God, every match I've seen
So
in live, he faced Jonah, got power bombed like on the floor, and then
mhm.
the other matches, it was a monster ball match
Right.
where he went through tables and all that. I'm like, this
So
guy,
that alone right there, you just said it. So the fact that that man alone, would you put him in a pre-show?
no.
I think we just answered
And
our own question.
he signed a new contract too. So like, hey,
We
to prove that you're a good signing, we'll put you in the main show.
yeah, in crazy
Ah,
spot, So for
yeah,
all that we just answered our own question.
yeah.
PCO is
Let's
just
move on.
he's a draw. Yeah.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
not no offense I'm not saying those guys are not pay-per-view worthy, but it's like
Hmm.
it's for you guys to be on the show because you guys are TNA.
Yeah,
you know. But PCO, he's the one who's doing the crazy stunts. So
yeah. He's the oldest guy there.
he may go through a flaming table. So
Yeah.
let's move on.
Okay. The next match. Whoo, man.
Chris Sabin, El Hijo de Vikingo,
Hmm.
and Kushida. I'm going with Kushida on this one.
I'm going with Chris Sabin.
You're going with Chris Sabin. All right, cool.
I mean, I would say Vikingo, but he's already the mega champion, and he's in AEW a lot.
I
So I
wouldn't
don't
want
think
him to be champion anyways, unless he signed with the company. I hate when they give him the title when they're not even signed with the company.
yeah,
Unless it's something like, let's just say, like, for example, Will Osprey, right? It's like, hey, we're gonna be in the UK, like when he came for Bound for Glory. It's like if he would have won the title at Bound for Glory, and it's like, well, we're gonna go to the UK, that's when you're gonna drop the title. Something
mm,
like that where it makes sense. But if it's like, even like if it's like, hey, you're a big your big fan base is in Texas. We're going to be in Texas in 3 months. So how about we book you now? You win the title and then you'll drop it at your
in
hometown,
Texas.
or you could win the title in your hometown and then you'll
Wait for
drop it.
Mexico.
Yeah, or and then drop it somewhere else or something like that. Like leave it, like have it mean something. If it's just
Yeah.
like, hey, you're on fire right now, we're gonna give the title on you. It's like, no, just book them. Because you did that with Pentagon Jr. How'd that work out?
Yeah, he
You,
left. No, he's
yeah,
like,
how'd that
what is
work
he
out?
doing? I haven't seen him in a minute. Have
Eh,
you?
no, I don't know what he's done. So, like it's just stuff like that where it's like you got to be careful who you give your titles to.
Yeah.
Uh, Now Trinity versus Jordan Grace. I would love to talk about this so much, but the fact that Trinity is most likely leaving the company, it's just like I got to go with Jordan Grace on this one. you
I
know.
agree. Like I said, like we've been talking about, I don't really go with dirt sheets.
Mhm.
But I mean, if I see the show and I see Jordan Grace wins, I'm like, okay, that gives me like 70% chance Trinity's gone. But
Right.
then I would have to see her on WWE television, be like, okay, she actually signed. But or but I think Jordan Grace is gonna win too because I think that's the point of the caught your shot thing. It's like the same thing I said about Money in the Bank and the Rumble. It's
Mhm.
like like if she loses, like, well, she's way stronger than Trinity. She could destroy her in real life too.
Right. Oh
And
yeah.
Trinity's had a good run, but I'm like, at the same time, like, we got a good run. It's if WWE wants you. If that's a rumor, which I don't always like, I look at it, but I'm like, it might be. I have to see it to believe it. I'm kind of that kind
Right.
of fan where I'm like, oh, this guy's gonna sign with this company. I'm like, well, until I see them show up on the show, cool. Like with CM Punk, I was there at Survivor Series. I didn't.
Mhm.
People were saying, "Oh, he's gonna show up. He's signed with WWE." The reason why my reaction to it. Have you seen my video where I was like screaming or screeching because I like allowed myself to be like, you know what? Okay, they could tell me he signed with them, but until I see him walk down that ramp,
Right.
that's when I believe it. Or on television, like Jay Cargill, that's when I believe it. I was like, oh snap. That's why
Mhm.
I feel like that's more genuine. Where you're like, oh, I don't really believe that source, but once you see them, you're like, holy moly,
And I miss that because it's just like imagine
Yeah,
if we didn't there was no dirt sheet about CM Punk may show
bro.
up to WWE.
Yeah,
Imagine the reaction everybody would have nobody would have been on their phone.
no,
Nobody would have recorded that moment because people would have
yeah.
had home.
And I saw people leaving too.
Yeah.
Like I saw some people leaving around like, it's like the Marvel movies at the end,
Yeah,
Like you gotta
you can't
stay.
just
You got
leave.
like I'm
Yeah.
gonna wait. I'm
Mhm.
gonna wait until they kick me out, or
Right.
because we didn't see the thing with the Survivor Series thing because we were there live.
Right.
But like we waited. I'm like I could go to the car. We are in the Allstate Arena in Chicago or Rosemont, Chicago, whatever. We know it's Rosemont. People, if you don't
Yeah.
live in Chicago, if you don't live in Chicago, you call it Chicago. It's Rosemont. It's a suburb. But anyways, it's like this thing. Like for her, like if I see Jordan Grace win the title, I'm gonna be
Mhm.
like, cool. There's a likely chance that rumor's real. That Trinity's gonna go to WWE, and her husband's there, so it makes sense. And then hope now Triple H is under control, not Vince McMahon officially. You know,
Right.
so like and then so that's what my logic is. If Grace wins, okay, that'd be awesome. She deserves it. She will call your shot gauntlet. But
Y- You
yeah,
know, and it gets to a certain point because it's just like what I miss is that people stop talking about the wrestling and they start talking about the dirt sheet
yeah,
more.
that's the thing that's been killing wrestling. Like I want
That
to see the
exactly.
wrestling. I'm a wrestling fan. I'm not a dirt sheets fan. Like I could watch all the
Yeah.
dirt sheets on the NFL and the NCAA, but I want to watch the NFL game. I want to watch the NCAA chat football games. I want to watch I want to watch the actual sport or event they're talking about. I don't want
Mhm.
to hear about the rumor about this football player doing this. I want to see him play on the field and win.
Yeah, and it's kind of like it's when people talk about TV shows,
Mm,
people don't go and be like they go ahead and talk about the show, right? It's like, hey, did you
yeah.
watch this show? This happened, that happened.
Hmm.
People don't go and say, "Oh, well, do you know why that happened?" Well, it's because this person had it in his contract, so that's
Yeah.
why he had to act like that. That's why he
Yeah.
had to wear a dress
Or that's why they
because it's
killed
on
off
my
the
contract.
character. Or that's why they
Yeah,
killed off the character because his contract was up. He didn't want to be on the show anymore.
right.
No,
And
I
they
want to
didn't
see
want to
the out.
pay. Yeah, they didn't want
Yeah,
to pay him, so that's why
yeah,
they had to do this. They did
yeah.
that. Blah
They
blah
had to kill off the
blah.
character. They had to
Yeah.
like he had to go missing for 3 months because the
Mhm.
actual actor had to have surgery. So they took him off for a little while.
Why
Just to.
why 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 do you watch Friends? How You Met Your Mother's way better. You know Friends is fake, right? You should watch How I Met Your Mother. It's just it's just crazy about that stuff.
Yeah,
And it's just like, why do you guys care so much about that? Why do we have so many dirt sheets? Why can't we have like people that actually enjoy wrestling, like
yeah.
just enjoy it, talk about it? Why do you guys have to break the fourth wall?
Yeah.
Just enjoy
That's
it.
the illusion. It's not like you say, the movie's fake.
Mhm.
Transformers is fake, but you're not gonna be like, well, it's fake. You shouldn't watch it. Like, well, I want to watch Optimus Prime.
Can
I want to
I?
watch
Yeah,
Godzilla.
yeah.
Like, I know it's not a real monster. I want to watch Godzilla.
Well, hold on.
Like,
Godzilla's real. We have, yeah.
oh yeah, we don't know
We
that.
have you been? Have you been to Tokyo? Have you been in
No,
Japan?
no.
All right. So Godzilla, for all we know, Godzilla may be real. All right.
Yeah, I think we're going off topic. We should go back. We should run it back in.
God damn it, Cat Williams.
I know. Wow. Anyway,
What happened? Where are we?
uh,
Hello?
so we both agree on Jordan Grace, right? Because we kind of assume Trinity's gonna leave, but at the same time, we're like, we'll take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah,
Mm,
but I hope Trinity stays.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, I feel it's just like I don't want to talk about the dirt sheets. We already
yeah,
did that earlier with Steve Macklin, Deanna Perrazzo. But with Trinity, it's like, she wants to leave. Because she's dropping the belt to Jordan Grace, and I would rather have Jordan Grace stay. So,
yeah.
but let's go on to the main event. The only problem I have with the main event is that there's no buildup.
Mm.
There's no
Yeah, because
video package going on. They're not building up the pay-per-view. They're building up the pay-per-view. They're not building up the matches.
yeah, it's kind
So
of. Didn't you say like the last month was like just highlights or something?
highlights or pre-tapes or like best of Impact.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. But even with the pre-tapes, there was no building up. And I feel like that's what they should have done. You should have still built it up, the
Like
match.
so there's no mention about like there was no video package about Moose becoming Feast or Fired and him doing like
No, it's
I want to
wait,
go.
was it? Yeah, yeah. Jordan Grace won the Call Your Shot Gothic.
Yeah.
And
And then Moose
Moose, yeah,
has
there was
Feast or
there,
Fire.
there's nothing
They didn't
going
do
on.
no video on that.
No.
On January 13th in
Mhm.
Las Vegas, Nevada, Hard to Kill. You see Moose's like video where
They're
he's like he
announcing
won
the
Feast or Fire,
matches.
but they didn't see
But
like a video
yeah,
package of him winning Feast or Fire and then him
no.
going out to the ring. I'm gonna cash in my title shot against Alex Shelley. None of that.
No.
See that? Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So
there's no. But yeah, there's no like.
so
Oh,
the reason why
okay.
I brought that up is the reason why I feel like Alex Shelley's gonna retain.
Hmm.
Because it's like, how are you gonna drop the belt to somebody who's been holding the company down for you since last year, and now you're basically saying, "Hey guys, Alex Shelley, the face of TNA," and then it's like, "Oh, never mind, we're gonna give the belt to Moose." Run with it a little bit, and they're gonna be, I believe, in New Orleans next month for No Surrender. So I
Ooh.
feel, and then if you, I don't know, I showed you the poster. One poster they have Alex Shelley, and then because it's the pay per view and the Fallout. So at one poster they have Moose, and then the other poster is Alex Shelley.
So they're
So
giving you that kind of like you
we
never
are,
know.
why did they do that? So there is a
It might be like
possibility,
game time decision at the end. They might just do it like at that night. Like you know what, you go over. You never
right?
know.
Yeah,
That
and that's showbiz. So they
yeah
could say right now Alex Shelley's going over. That night Moose is going over, or Moose is going over, but that night no, Shelley's going over.
yeah
They could say it in the middle of the ring.
yeah. Like just
We're
call it.
going,
Just
yeah,
you're gonna get
yeah.
it. Like whatever.
No,
I'm injured
never
or
mind.
something.
They all gotta do is, hey, nope, Moose is going over. Hey, nope. Ref tells them Moose is going over, and that's it.
If we
So
see it, you're like, oh damn.
that's why I go when I go to wrestling shows, I try to be a fan.
Yeah, because you were a
Because
ref. You can know like they're doing a cue like we're like hey like oh
you,
hey
you
he's
hear
on a
me talking to myself. Come on, man, what are you doing, man? And I'll look and I'll break the illusion for myself. And I'll be like, oh no, I ruined the match for
and
myself.
then
I
you see
broke the
then you're
illusion.
like then you see them like when they're down you see the ref talking to them way too long. You're like oh no he's
Yeah.
calling it. This is it. This is it.
Yeah, that's
Oh
why I
man.
try, like, that's why when you saw me focus, like when I was watching Mike Bailey and Will Ospreay, I'm like, nope, focus. Focus. Do not break this illusion.
Yeah.
Do not break it. Because when you're so focused into the match, you're just like nothing matters. Because that's how great this match is, and this is how much you want to enjoy it. And then it gets to, and then when you break that, like, the wall, it's like, I ruined this match for myself.
Yeah.
So yeah, I try to watch it as a fan. But bro, all these matches, all these cards, I'm gonna be watching as a freaking fan, man. So
Mhm.
I don't know if I don't know if we're gonna be live streaming. I don't know if we show up because we live in Chicago, so we got bad weather over here. But
Winter time. It's got snow.
regardless, I'm gonna be laser focused. Like, don't want to miss this and all that. And this is special because it's like TNA wrestling is coming back, So it's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So very exciting. Um, I asked you earlier that I was gonna ask you now. Oh, sorry. Who's going over? Alex Shelley or Moose?
I'm gonna say Moose.
Ooh, I'm going with Shelley.
I think it's gonna be like one of those things where like, yeah, you go over, but then he loses it like at like you said, no surrender or the March or April, whatever. I don't know the rest of the
Mhm.
lineup. You never know. They might change the names of some shows.
I was gonna say, I asked you earlier, what surprises do you think is gonna happen at TNA Hard to Kill?
I mean,
Not the announcement. Not the announcement. I'm saying like, what do you think surprise things is gonna happen, or what would you like to see? I
I
feel
mean,
like for me, it's Okada.
I would say they bring back some originals like James Storm. Where's he been up to?
Mm.
I haven't seen him. They might bring back.
He's a realtor
Oh yeah. Oh
in
okay.
Nashville, Tennessee.
So he could wrestle periodically and stuff. I would say like Mickey James resigns. Maybe not. Her husband's in on
Mm.
SmackDown, so she might go back to WWE. Who knows?
Gail Kim.
Um, Gail Kim. I mean, she's been around recently, so not really.
She's always there. She's always backstage.
Yeah, so I'm not saying that'll
Yeah.
be a surprise. Like, well, we kind of know she's there.
But to have
Um,
her on screen would be a nice surprise.
yeah. I mean, like you said, Okada would be cool.
AJ Styles. He did it
Well,
for the anniversary for
he
TNA.
might just do a video package. He's not gonna be there for sure.
Oh well, yeah,
Um,
yeah. I don't mean like showing up, just in
I
general, like surprise, like Sting may do a video package. Samoan Joe, Christopher Daniels.
Yeah, like
But
a welcome
yeah,
back thing. But like actually, like wrestlers are gonna be there. Like they're gonna be like, oh, I'm part of the company now.
mm. I
That's
feel
gonna
like we're gonna get like a Lex Luger moment when he showed up at the Mall of America for who was it, Hulk Hogan's match.
WCW. I think so.
I
Yeah,
feel like
WCW.
we're gonna get something like that.
Who? What company though? Like
TNA.
AEW? Oh, but like from what company?
No, no, no. Just like a moment
Oh, just
like
like a.
that.
Oh,
Like
okay.
a moment like that. We're gonna have like we're gonna have two. Like it could either be the main event. It could be like basically what happened with Les Luger when he made his debut during a wrestling match. Was it Hogan's match?
I don't
I,
remember.
I don't really remember.
I know it was WCW. I know it was like the
But you know
next
how
night
he made
after
his.
Raw.
But
Yeah,
yeah, you know how he made his debut, where
and he's
he
like
just like
walking up
started
like.
walking in there,
Yeah,
to
he like
watch the
white
match.
shirt and all
Yeah,
that. Yeah,
I
I
feel like
remember that.
we're gonna have a moment like that. I don't know with who, but I feel like that's what I'm predicting. A
Because
Lex Luger debut.
I'm gonna say Tamatanga. You know what that
Mm,
is, right? Because he
yeah.
say he's gonna move back to the states, and who got
Mm.
money right now? TNA, and they work with New Japan a lot, so
Is
it
he
might be
TN? Is
natural.
he a big draw for? Would he? Could he be a big draw for TNA? I
I
feel like
think
he's a
he
big draw
would.
if he's part of the Bullet Club.
No, he's been good. He's been part of the Gorillas of Dynasty.
Oh, I
I'm
know
thinking
that.
he's a beast. And he's
Oh
Samoan
yeah,
too, I
yeah,
think,
yeah.
right?
He's a
No,
great
he's
worker. I'm
Tongan.
not
He's
denying that
Tongan.
part.
But
I'm
I'm
not denying
thinking
that part.
he'll be kind of fired up. If him and his the what's the other guy name? He's be Camacho. What is he now? What's his name now? Camacho. Whatever his name is. La Loa or something. I don't remember his. But one of the or Hikalu. That'd be kind of cool if they showed up there. Like more
Right.
people from Japan could be there too. Like they have the Bullet Club there already. Why not have Tamatanga join
I feel like it has to be
ABC?
somebody for the states.
Yeah, he's
Just
from the
yeah.
States. Well, he's from
Oh yeah,
Samoa, I
yeah.
think, or Tonga. I forgot what.
But realistic, he's a big name for New Japan. So
What
like
about
you have
Sean
to
Spears? But that one, he hasn't done much in AEW, so it's kind of like
no.
he's popular because he was
The
but I don't think he'll be
only
like a draw. Like, hey, I'm here.
the only curveball that I could see is MJF. But what are the
No,
chances of that? But that's one like that's why I said like that's the only curveball where I'll be like, you know how I mentioned earlier, where it was like, whoa, I never would have expected that.
yeah,
That's the one.
or Mercedes Monet,
Mercedes.
because Trinity's there, but Trinity might leave. Maybe not. Maybe
Oh, bro, what if she retains and Mercedes comes out?
because
Remember,
Trinity's there, Samurai of the Soul's there. Like her two friends are there, so why
right?
not like be like, hey, come
Hey,
over
but
here?
hold, what if Mercedes does what I just said with the Lex Luger?
Yeah, she does that to
Imagine she
Trinity.
her yeah
Ooh.
for Trinity, bro. Oh my gosh,
Ooh.
Trinity pulling the Lex Luger on I mean Mercedes Monet pulling the Lex Luger
On
debut
her
on
friend.
Trinity
On her
on her
friend.
friend stealing that spotlight.
Dude. She'd turn on her friend or she'd just be there. But Jordan Grace,
Bro, it don't matter. She just
oh,
like
that'll be,
just taking
oh,
the spotlight, bro. You know the story you could run with that?
ooh.
The story
We
of
left
yeah.
together.
Or
You
for
were had
or
my
yeah,
back, but now you're
right.
turning on me because I
Or
joined
yeah,
you. I had to leave the
yeah.
big corporation in Connecticut, whatever
Mhm.
they say. Like, oh, because we left Connecticut, because that's where it is. Like,
Of
we
all places,
left
she could throw the whole thing. Like of all places you could have
because
gone, you
because we
chose
kind of
here.
we everybody's kind of agreed that like Sasha Banks kind of like inspired Trinity to leave with her. You know, like
Mhm.
because they like, hey, we should go. Like, are you sure? Like, who got a better deal out of that though? They both became
Trinity.
rich. Yeah, she got the better
Trinity is
deal.
champion right now.
But
What are
then,
you talking
yeah,
about?
yeah.
Mercedes Monet's ex. If the rumors are true of her asking for 25 million, bro, what the hell have she done to ask for that money?
Man,
What
that's
have
like
she
Hulk
done?
Hogan money.
Hogan didn't even make that kind of money.
No, not even
He
Bruno
made that kind of
Sammartino.
money, but he
Yeah,
wasn't getting paid that kind of money.
yeah.
Because there's a difference, with the merch and all
Merch and
that,
all that. Yeah.
like with all the monies that you made throughout the years. But what has Mercedes done that she, like, again, for Tony Khan? I don't know where that rumor started, if it is a rumor or if it's true or whatever. I have no idea. But let's just say if it's true, right? Regardless, I feel like more than $5 million for Mercedes is too much.
Yeah.
She hasn't done anything to get that kind of money.
Yeah.
What has she done? She had some good matches in New Japan. She drew money for New Japan, but she was still wrestling in front of 5,000 people. Is anybody going to mention that part?
Wow. Yeah.
Did you know
Never.
that part?
No, I don't know. It was never sold out. Then it was never like she's
I
here.
don't
Let's so.
know. I don't
I
know.
don't know either. Yeah.
I don't know anything about New Japan. All I know is that the places that she was wrestling for the Stardom, they drew 5,000 people. Is
Wow.
that, I'm sorry, but would you pay somebody $25 million who only draws 5,000 people?
No, you gotta be drawing like the whole arena full, sold out
Right.
every day, like Roman
Yeah.
Reigns style or like LA Knight
Brock
style or like
Lesnar doesn't even make that kind of money.
no,
But
no.
again, I'm pretty sure that's just somebody
Yeah.
just,
trying to
spreading
get like
lies.
trying to
Yeah.
get like this guy like
Mhm.
let's see that what this guy said. I'm like, you don't
Yeah, I'm
know
pretty sure
anything,
it's
bro.
just rumors because nothing's confirming about that. I mean, the
Yeah.
only time would tell, but it's like all I'm saying is like I do love Mercedes Monet, but it's just like I feel like there's a certain amount where it's like, like, I don't you haven't done
Mm,
anything,
yeah.
And if I gotta choose pick somebody for the four horsewoman to give that kind of money, is Charlotte and Becky,
Hmm. Yep.
you know. But once again, Brock Lesnar is not even getting that kind of money. But
Mm.
I'm pretty sure it's just like jokes and giggles and stuff like that. I mean, it's still funny when I saw that. I was just like, oh my gosh. And but yeah, but hey, I wouldn't mind seeing I wouldn't like I would still would want her to be at TNA. I'm not saying I don't want her there. It'd be cool to have her there. But it's just like sometimes it's just like I don't know. I feel like there's other female wrestlers out there.
Yeah,
You
there's
know,
plenty of them out there that are free agents right now. I'm like, I rather sign those people right
no,
now.
yeah, for sure. For sure. All right. Well, I guess this wraps up for this episode. Anything you want to add before we leave?
Um,
Take your time.
um,
Well, Ever's thinking everybody hit that, check out the links in the bio. So seems
no, I'm
like
good actually. No, I'm good.
yeah.
I'm good.
All right. Well, take us home, Ever.
All right, listeners, this before we go, please hit the like and subscribe. Give us a follow on Spotify and TikTok. Rest of our links in the bio, and that is for this episode.
Well, I'm Ian,
Ever.
and we are out.
See ya.
Doo-doo-doo.